audible, right? Silence is awkward, isn't it? Or silence is golden? Did you feel like taking out your phone quickly to check the next notification? Or maybe there is an email? How do you feel when you're standing in a lift with strangers? Do you feel awkward? Is it awkward for you if you're in a metro rail and you're not looking at your phone and other people are staring at each other? 20 years ago, these were very normal. This was not awkward at all. We have come to times where we are constantly addicted to more information coming our way. Next notification, next email, the next TED Talk, the next piece of news. We constantly want our mind to remain engaged. We are not at comfort with silence. But Sugandha, what is wrong with constantly craving for information? What is wrong? We are technically connected. We are much more modern now. And we are fast moving. So why not stay connected all the time, and why not keep scrolling? Why not keep connecting with people? Why do we have to be silent? Because when we are silent, our bodies are in homeostasis. And when we are constantly craving information, getting information, doing, we put our bodies at the risk of going out of balance, out of homeostasis. Homeostasis is a medical term. Homeostasis means balance. This is the body's automatic reflex which gets activated whenever your body is out of balance. For example, just in layman terms, in case you're standing in scorching heat and your temperature goes a little bit above normal body temperature, what happens? You start sweating. Your sweat glands release sweat, that sweat gets evaporated, and your body cools down. So it is the body's and brain's mechanism to get your body back into balance whenever it is out of balance. Your blood vessels get dilated to release heat. Okay? So it's a constant feedback loop between body and brain and body. The feedback loop will continue until the temperature cools down to normal body temperature. Similarly, if it's too cold, the AC is too intense and you're feeling cold, your body starts shivering to generate heat, and your blood vessels get constricted so that they do not lose heat. So the body is balancing itself constantly. So the state of balance is homeostasis. It is the body's inherent capability to be at stable situation despite changes in the external environment. Okay? Now, let's understand it a little bit deeper. What is happening between body to brain? Now, the brain has autonomic nervous system. It is called autonomic because it works on autopilot. And the functions that it does is digestion, the rate of your heartbeat. So you don't have to tell your heart to beat faster, right? You don't have to tell your stomach to digest. If you would have to do that, it would be a lot of work, right? So it is automatically happening. So that's why it's called autonomic nervous system. Now, if the fire alarm goes off in this room, what would happen? Your body gets into fight or flight mode. Why? Because either you would have to fight the fire or you can just run away. Similarly, if there is an attacker with a knife in his hand and he charges at you, what will happen? Your body will get into fight or flight mode so that you can either fight the attacker or you can run away. And when the attacker is gone, or when you're safely out of the building, now you're in safety, your body comes back into balance, into rest and digest mode. So fight and flight and rest and digest when you're safe. Now, what is happening in the nervous system? The sympathetic nervous system is putting your body into fight or flight mode. How? It is raising your heartbeat, raising your respiration rate. It is dilating your pupils so that you can see better, so that in case it's dark, your eyes are able to see better. How smart is the body? Have you noticed that you go pale whenever there is a physical threat around? Why do you go pale? So that in case you get a cut on your body, you don't bleed profusely. How smart is the body? So what else does the body do? It produces the stress hormones of cortisol and adrenaline. So all of these things are happening. Sympathetic nervous system is triggering all of this so that our body gets into fight and flight. What else does the body do? The sympathetic nervous system asks the digestion to stop, pause. We don't have to digest food right now. We need to run right now. That is more important. So later we will digest the food. So the digestion is on pause. The immune function is on pause because that's not important. So all of these things are happening when the fight or flight mode is activated. Now when you're back into safety, the parasympathetic nervous system activates the rest and digest. What happens now? Your heartbeat is going back to normal. Your pupils are going back to their normal size. Your blood vessels are again constricted to normal size. And your digestion and your immune function resume. That we are safe now, we can resume the normal bodily functions. Now, in today's world, aside from the soldiers that Sir talked about, how many of us are attacked? How many times does the fire alarm go off? These things are not happening right now. We are in safe times. We were given this bodily function because many years ago, we used to live in the jungles. We used to hunt for our food. We needed to keep ourselves safe. So we had this fight or flight and rest and digest. But in today's times, we don't need this. But still, our sympathetic nervous system is getting activated. It is getting triggered. How? There is no physical threat, but there is perceived threat. What is the perceived threat? The next notification from your angry boss. The stinker email from your colleague. The argument that you had with your spouse in the morning. Somebody honked at you in the traffic. These are perceived threats. The colleague sitting next to you in your cubicle, maybe you don't like him, but he gets on your nerves. You don't need to fight or flight in this situation, but still, your body is going into fight or flight mode. The body doesn't know that we don't need to fight or flight. The body's trigger is activated with that email, with that notification, with that piece of news that you saw on TV or while you're scrolling. Now, the blood pressure is risen, the heartbeat has become faster, the respiration rate is faster, the stress hormones are generated, cortisol, adrenaline, and the digestion has gone haywire, the immune function has gone haywire. Now, 1 notification, 5 notifications, 50 notifications, the entire day you are on phones, the entire day you are consuming information, 70 to 80% of that information is not positive. So your sympathetic nervous system is constantly getting activated throughout the day. And the parasympathetic nervous system is tired to get your body back into homeostasis. It is trying hard, but it's not getting a chance. It has to work all day to get your body back into balance, right? So then what happens? The chronic diseases start to happen. Chronic high BP. We say that वो तो genetic है. It is a genetic disease. No. These are lifestyle diseases. The BP gets high, you get chronic stress. Some of the autoimmune diseases are happening because of this. And we are not addressing the problem. So हम क्या करें? What do we do? Do we throw our phones in the dustbin, stop looking at our laptop, stop watching TV, stop all kinds of conversation with everybody? Will that solve the problem? No. Because even then, when you are not taking any inputs from your surroundings, you are sitting with your thoughts. Radio NST, non-stop thinking. Now, there is neither the physical threat of the attacker, nor there is the perceived threat of the email. Now, it's just a thought. You are still depressed because you lost a loved one 10 years ago. You're still depressed and churning the same breakup that happened 2 years ago. You failed in your exams 2 weeks back, and you're still replaying that again and again in your mind. And the same perceived threat is getting activated. Now the body doesn't know that it's just a thought. That event happened 10 years ago. It is not happening right now. The body doesn't know. The body thinks that it can't differentiate between thought and an actual event. So the body is going into fight or flight again and again with the thoughts. You have an exam coming up in 2 weeks and you're nervous about that. You have a presentation coming up and you're constantly replaying that. You had a failure, you're constantly replaying that. And a human being has 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. And 80% of those thoughts are the same thoughts you had the previous day. So you're churning the same thought over and over again, getting your body into disbalance all day, all night, every single day, when there is no reason to put your body out of balance. So that's where interventions like yoga, breath work, meditation, these have to come in now. Now, how does yoga know all of this? These concepts of homeostasis and the knowledge about nervous system is only 100, 150 years old. Yoga is 5,000 years old. That time ago also, in yoga and in Vedic sciences, we understand this body not just as this skin and bones. This is only the Annamaya Kosh or physical body. And then we have the Pranamaya Kosh or the pranic body. And then we have 3 other sheaths, which I'll not talk about. But let's talk about the pranic body. The prana, we say, right, pran chale gaye. That means the person is not alive anymore. Prana is the vital life force inside a human being, which gives life to a person. It is also known as anima mia in ancient Roman, pneuma in ancient Greek. It is known as chi or ki in Chinese tradition, ruh in Islamic tradition, and the Holy Spirit in Christianity. They all mean the same thing. Now the pranic body in ancient yogic science is said to be containing 72,000 nadis in the body. And these nadis are exactly mirroring of the nervous system that we have. Okay? In modern physiology, we see that as nervous system, but 5,000 years ago, it was known as nadis, 72,000 nadis in our body. Now, out of those 72,000, there are 3 main nadis, which we'll talk about. The Ida nadi, the Pingala nadi, and the Sushumna nadi. The Ida nadi is the feminine, nurturing, creative energy channel, which is the counterpart of the parasympathetic nervous system, which puts our body in rest and digest. And the Pingala nadi is the logical, rational, the action-oriented energy channel, which is the counterpart of the sympathetic nervous system, which protects us, protects our body by fight and flight. And yoga knows that when these 2 nadis are in balance, that's when the energy flows freely through the Sushumna nadi, which is along the spine, and that leads to spiritual awakening. And you know what is the basis of the entire Hatha Yoga, which is the most formative form of yoga? It is this balance, this counterpart of homeostasis, which the ancient yogic sciences have known for thousands of years, and which is what all the practices of yoga are based on. So now we understand that yoga brings balance in the body, it brings our body back into homeostasis. So what are the practices in yoga that can help? We are all familiar with the asana practice, right? A lot of you might have also done that, but most people do not learn yoga beyond asana. So the asana that you do on mat brings your body into balance in the physiological aspects of it. How? It brings, in case with age, you tend to lose your balance, right, slightly. So you have balancing asanas. They bring your body back into balance so that your left and right are balanced. Your posture is correct. You're able to walk on uneven surfaces without falling. We have specific asanas aimed to balance hormones in our body, like thyroid gland and all these functionings. So this is the way asana can help. The other way yoga can help in physiological balance of our body is through practices such as Shat Karma, which are 6 kriyas, in which we have Tratak Kriya, which is for mental cleansing. We have Jal Niti, you might have heard of, for nasal cleansing. We have Kunjal Kriya for our cleansing of our gut. So when our body is clean, so the ancient people knew that when our body is clean in these ways, our body remains in balance. So that is also a way of removing disbalance from our body and getting our body back into balance. Then we have pranayam. So directly connected to the pranic body, pranayam, in which we do breath work. We learn to balance inhalation and exhalation. When we are in our lives today, we tend to forget to exhale. We inhale a lot, but we do not properly exhale. So with pranayam practice, you learn to exhale properly. And then we have specific pranayams like Nadi Shodhan pranayam, which is Nadi Shodhan, means the purification of the energy channel in the body, which is also known as Anulom Vilom, which we do, and it balances the pranic channels in the body so that our body comes back into homeostasis. Then we have dhyan or meditation, which is what stops the radio NST, the radio non-stop thinking. Of course, when you start meditation, there are too many thoughts, and people tend to give up at that level because they can't sit with their thoughts. I mean, when there's so much to do in the world, why sit with your thoughts, right? Nobody has time for that. But when you sit with your thoughts, when you take a journey within yourself, when you go deep inside, you understand a lot of things about yourself, and your psychological balance comes into place. That is the way to balance yourself psychologically. The other practices that are talked about in yoga are swadhyay, self-study. So you do spiritual studies, you listen to satsangs, you read spiritual books of spiritual leaders, etc. You do mantra jap. Mantra jap is so strong that even the people who are on their deathbed, said to be taken their last few breaths, are known to have come back from their deathbed with mantra, listening to chanting of mantras by somebody close to them. So mantra jap is that effective. So all of these practices in yoga are helpful in restoring your balance. Now, of course, if I ask you, in ideal situation, I'll ask all of you to start your yoga practice, your yoga journey, because it is going to help you maintain your homeostasis in your life so that you're not disbalanced and you do not contract the chronic diseases of this kind of lifestyle that we have. But what I also want you to do is avoid getting sick, avoid getting disbalanced in the first place. So how do you avoid that? In my life, in my personal life, I am a mother of 2 children. I have a job in the corporate. I am also trying content creation. From the moment I wake up in the morning, I have to check the homeworks of children. I have to get them to complete homeworks. I have to check my emails. I have to book a cab and go to office. And the whole day goes in entire multiple windows juggling. And then in the evening, I have to order groceries. And there's no time for silence at all. No time. So what do I personally do, which I want to share? And I am the daughter to a set of doctors, and I have a lot of doctors in my family. Both my parents are doctors. And I am also an engineering graduate. So that's how I connect everything that I have learned in yoga to how it is actually affecting the physiology in our body, and that's why I'm sharing this. And from my experience of study of yoga and practice of yoga, the few things that I want all of you to incorporate in your life, which are very simple things. I'm not asking you to do yoga on your mat whole day, meditate whole day, no. Simple takeaways, practical takeaways. Review and optimize what you're consuming. So consumption of food. Why does yoga promote sattvic diet? Because the components of sattvic diet maintain your homeostasis. They do not get your body out of balance. Whereas the things that you eat, such as fried foods, too much sugary, too much salty foods, they immediately disbalance your body, right? And ultimately, having too much salty food leads to high BP, and then a person contracts a lifestyle disease. So Watch what you're consuming in terms of food. Watch what you're consuming in terms of information, which is very important in today's times. I would say it is the most important point of today. We are in the times of information overload. We are constantly absorbing information from everywhere, and we can't stop. We are addicted to it. I have been through that phase when my mind was cluttered and it was all over the place, and I didn't know what was happening to me. And then, through my yoga practices, I saw what has changed via yoga. I realized that I'm not present in the present moment. I am just scrolling, and that too much information is getting my body out of balance. And the third type of consumption that you must review and optimize is consuming materialistic possessions, too much shopping, too much acquisition of things like cars and furniture, and these things create disbalance of energy in your homes. And energy, everything is energy. Everything has a vibration. Everything in the world has energy. They are not just a piece of matter. Everything has vibrations. So, and acquiring too much creates a stagnation of energy. So watch what you are consuming in terms of sensory pleasures, in terms of acquisitions that you do. The next thing is be present in the present moment. Do not think about the past occurrences which happened 2 weeks back, 2 years back, 20 years back. The past and future is only in your neural circuits of the brain. It is not real, it is not here now. What is here right now is only the present moment now. What you're doing right now is what matters. If you keep churning the same thoughts of past and future, you are unnecessarily putting your body into disbalance. So do that. And a simple way to practice presence is watch your breath. Whenever you catch yourself getting not present, absent, you just focus on your breath, simple inhalation and exhalation, and you'll see that you're back in the moment. You can try that now. And a very powerful practice is practicing gratitude. Whenever you feel that something went wrong, I wish that argument didn't happen, and you can't let go of that argument that happened with your spouse or your loved one, and you're just too disturbed because of that, practice gratitude. Just simple, thank you God for this lovely life, thank you that I'm alive, thank you that I have a family, thank you that I have a roof over my head, thank you that I'm getting hot food to eat today. Just for 2 minutes practice gratitude, it will instantly elevate your state of being, and you'll feel so much better. Practice equanimity. Samatvam yogaha uchyate, the Bhagavad Gita says. Yoga is balance. And balance means no matter what situation you are in, remain equanimous. If you're in the traffic and there are people honking at you, there's no point getting your body into fight or flight because you don't need to fight there. And no matter what you do, you'll reach your destination only when the traffic goes away. So unnecessarily don't get into fight or flight mode. Do not get disbalanced. Remain equanimous. If there is a bad news that you're hearing, do not immediately get disturbed and just watch your breath, what is happening to you. Be aware, be self-aware. When you're self-aware, you can control that disbalance you are creating in your body. And you'll see that no matter how big the problem is, if you are staying equanimous, you'll quickly find solutions to it. Whereas if you get tensed, you are just delaying the solution. The next is practice silence. Antarman. At least when you wake up in the morning for 1.5 hours, do not look at your phone, and before you go to sleep, do not scroll. Because after waking up from sleep and before going to sleep in the night, your mind is the most closest to your conscious mind and subconscious mind. The veil between that is the thinnest at that time. So you do not want to imprint in your subconscious those things that you're scrolling in the phone. It completely affects your physical and mental balance. So practice silence at any time during the day. So what I do sometimes in office, when I'm extremely worked up, when there is too much to deliver and too many deadlines happening and I have too much short time and all of a sudden I feel overwhelmed. What do? I imagine that I'm a computer, I have so many wires and I'm disconnecting all the wires. And I just sit like this as if I don't have any senses, I can't hear anything, I just completely disconnect. And I do that only for 2 minutes and I press the reset button on myself. So you can try that, just disconnect from everything for 2 minutes and you'll feel that you have reset. So that is something I do, and you can practice silence as many times as you want during the day. Do not be afraid of silence. Do not feel silence is awkward. Silence is golden. There were times when there was no 24-hour TV, there was no continuous media channels, you could not call up your loved ones and talk to them immediately. You would be silent for hours and days. So practice silence. That will keep your body in balance and avoid all the lifestyle diseases that may happen. And finally, balance, rest, and movement. So if you're working out too much in the gym, also make sure that you're resting. Do not be afraid of that shavasana in the yoga practice. Do not be afraid of meditation. Rest is as important. So people come and say, ma'am, we have been practicing yoga for thyroid balance for many years, but nothing is happening. That's because you are only doing the asana. You are not balancing it with rest. Rest is as important as movement. So balance between rest and movement is important. So this is what I want all of you to take away. And finally, I just want to close by saying that nature always maintains its balance. Balance is important. The water cycle maintains its balance by precipitation, evaporation, condensation. There is a balance, right? There is climate balance. There is carbon cycle balance. There is balance of fluid in our bodies. There is balance between light and dark. So light does not stay forever and darkness does not stay forever. There is balance between Shiva and Shakti, the feminine and the masculine, yin and yang. So it's nature's way to maintain balance, and similar balance should be maintained in our body at all times. So please pay attention to this and make sure that you do not contract any of the unnecessary lifestyle diseases. Thank you.